Alright, welcome back to the Undead Priest HTP, how to procrastinate. So, last time we played, we was getting ready for RFC. We're getting some quests all lined up. So as you can see, we've got 2 of them ready. We are currently level 12, so we're still a bit low. But what we're going to do now is, we're going to make the long, steady trip from Orgrimmar all the way through the Barrens over to Thunder Bluff, as there are some quests over here we want to get. I want to pick up. Obviously we could rely on someone else getting them for us and sharing when we get there, but do the legwork ourselves, get the flight paths. Before we set off though, I was obviously doing some reading in the downtime. We'll start walking while I'm talking. Just about add-ons, and there's 2 things I just want to share with people. They might know this already, they might not. The first one's about the hardcore add-on. So last night, once I turned off recording, I did another quest and I actually got an achievement. When you look at your character screen, you got this little tab, HC Hardcore, and you can see you get achievements. And I was unaware this was an achievement. I simply completed a quest before level 13. As I mentioned, I'm level 12 now. So the way to see these is if you go to the achievement tab and questing, there's a little tick box, make it a little bit easier. So obviously we're playing Horde, so we'll exclude Alliance only. And it's in level range, so obviously the first one you can do is the Family Crypt one. And in one of the previous episodes, we finished that quest, and we had a little message that said reload to save progress. Was unsure what that meant, but now we know. So if we'd have completed that a little bit earlier, we would have got another achievement. There's a little thing to keep track of. You don't have to select these achievements before you start. You simply complete them while playing the game and it'll update with it. And it actually gives a little pop-up on the screen. The second thing I wanted to show everybody was this other little feature inside this add-on I noticed. Which is a little bit daunting. Death statistics. So when we look at this, statistics for deaths that you've witnessed. You've witnessed 409 deaths. So since we started playing, what's our play time? Is it going to show me? So we've played for 8 hours and we've seen 409 hardcore characters die. That's people with this add-on installed, I believe. It's quite daunting. What's even worse, or maybe better, I don't know how to take it just yet, is if we look at the amount of people playing Priest, so 24, which I believe is the least amount of deaths out of every death we've witnessed. You see percentage 5.9, and average death level we're seeing for priests is about 20. Out of all the deaths we've seen, about 6% of all the deaths turns out to be priests, which is the lowest. Previously I'd mentioned, oh, I think hunters might be the easiest, which, you know, there's a lot less priest recorded deaths, which suggests that priests maybe are the easiest. I'm not too sure how to take it yet. Maybe less people are playing priest. But yeah, something to have in the back of my mind. I don't want to boost this statistic. We want to keep that nice down. All the pros are playing priest, he says as he pulls a boar. So yeah, that's one of them, and we'll deal with this boar, get rid of him. It's me XP. Yeah, the other one I want to show. So some people might have Atlas Loot. Now Atlas Loot is a really good add-on. It essentially will show you all sorts of stuff. The main one I use it for is dungeons and raids. It's a good thing to have to show you the loot that a certain instance might drop. And it'll list them all down here. It'll give you the levels, then go into the raids by sizes. Really good. And then the bosses and the loot they might drop. One thing I did notice though, or read about, if you hover over Atlas Loot, it says shift left click for open options. We'll do that now. We get this screen. And inside this, there's 2 options which aren't ticked by default, but I'm going to tick them now. So it says show boss level if available, and show minimum level for entry. We'll do that. And then when we reopen Atlas Loot, you can see now, got the red number, which says to enter the dungeon at all, you've got to be this level, which is good to know. And also next to the boss name, it puts the level. Previously we spoke about what level would we go here, and I said about level 16, which is actually, you know, correct, because the bosses here look to be level 16. And it'll be useful, you know, when we start looking at other places, RFK, Razorfen Crawl. We can see the last boss is level 32. Sorry, no, that's the that little gold silver dragon there depicts it's a rare. So I believe this is actually the last boss. So the last boss is level 33. So you can see that will help us tailor what level we want to go at. You know, we don't want to go too high, we don't want to go too low. So yeah, useful little tips for doing it. So what we're going to do now is, oh, ding, while traveling, you love to see it. There is a quest you can get from here, Conscript to the Horde, but we're not going to go back and get it. It's too much time. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set a timer. Here you can click start, show stopwatch. We're going to have this running. I should put it above our name. We're going to have this going. It'll be a rough timer for how long is it going to take from getting to the Barrens to getting all the way to Thunder Bluff. Let's see how we do. So that's us just about pulling into Thunder Bluff now. Took about 15 minutes, which was actually a lot quicker than I thought it would be, to get from the entrance of the Barrens all the way down. Making sure to pick up Crossroads and Camp. I never know how to say that. Torajo. Flight paths on the way. I actually remembered while I was running, I don't think I actually got the Orgrimmar flight path, which is a bit of an F, but oh well. So we're here now, that's good. Stop our stopwatch, reset it. So there's 2 things we need to get while we're here. Well, 3 really. 1 being flight path. 2 being the quest for RFC. And there's also a quest in Silverpine, until death do us part, which we're going to grab, because I think a lot of people obviously say the Barrens is the best place to level, which is hard to argue with. It's, you know, there's mobs everywhere, there's quests that tell you to literally kill everything. You know, it's somewhat safe, but I've done it. I've done it many times. Nothing new and exciting there. So we are sticking to, as I mentioned, Undead is the most, or the least played race that I've actually played on World of Warcraft. So we're going to stick with that, and we're going to stick in Silverpine for the time being. To see what it's like. Maybe it's really bad. Maybe it's really really dry. Don't know. We won't know until we get involved. Give it a try. Fun is just doing the same thing over and over again, right? So we'll give it a go. So we're going to get our quest, and then we're going to actually half back across to Brill. I think my Hearthstone's still set to. Yeah, Gallows End in Brill. But we did actually pick up another quest in Orgrimmar last night. So, Touch of Weakness. This is a classic specific thing. So, priests in classic. Hold on, better. I'll pin in that for a second. Let's get these quests. So, test an enemy's strength. What's this one about? Beneath Orgrimmar, stout creatures known as trogs started coming to the surface from deep below the lava-filled tunnels. In her ever benevolence, Magathus sought to make peace with the creatures, but they turned on her diplomats, killing them. She will not allow such treatment of the Tauran people, and now consider the creatures a threat to all the Horde. She asks that you put an end to this trog threat before it overwhelms the Horde from below. Find Ragefire Chasm and destroy them all. Okay.
Ancestors watch over you.
I think that's Magatha. Yeah, Magatha there.
What is it you want, stranger? I have little time for foolishness.
Grim Tome.
What brings you here?
And search for the lost satchel. The trogs are not the only thing that interests Magatha in Ragefire Chasm. She has heard word that one of her servants, a more Grim Totem, found something peculiar while in the chasm, but he never made it out to show her what. She'd like Moore's body found, if it still exists, and any signs of what he found while attempting to speak to the trogs. Return to Magatha any items of interest, and I'm sure she would be very generous in her reward. Okay.
Farewell.
So that's the 2 quests for RFC. We got them. Happy days. So yeah, what I was talking about was this Touch of Weakness quest. So in Classic WoW, priests have race-specific skills. And it just, I think there's one at level 10, and there's one at level 20. And it differs whether you play an undead, whether you play a troll, human, dwarf, night elf, whatever you want to play. You will get a different combination of the abilities. And for undead, it turns out that the first one we get is this Touch of Weakness, which is someone attacks. If a melee attack hits me, they take damage, and it also gives them a debuff to make them weaker, which, I mean, is just an all-over win. 25 mana as well, which is half a Mind Blast. So very very useful. How useful it's going to be long term, you know, as we go up the levels. I don't know if it's got ranks. Don't know if it's train it again and again to make it stronger, or if it is just that. Don't know yet. Don't know very much about Priest, but it's a nice little thing. Other classes don't have it, you know. It's a priest-specific thing. Right, this quest raft I believe is in underneath. This is for Silverpine, so we'll go grab it. I think this is something to do... I think it's something to do with going to a grave in Silverpine. Can't quite remember. I always read it, but I never really do it. The only time I've ever been to Silverpine is to go to the
What is it?
instance. Until death do us part, filthy scum leaves me for his damn crusade, because light is the most important thing we have against the threat the undead pose. Well, what about his children? What about me? Night after night I sat patiently waiting for him, always second to his blasted duty. Well, witness what justice brings you. HTP, he's dead, and I'm bearing the very thing he was trying to stop. Ooh, nice. Take this piece of junk, put it on his tomb at the sepulchre. Want nothing to do with it anymore, or him. Yeah, so it's simple. I think these other quests are made to link you to other zones, make you travel there.
What would you ask?
Making sure I haven't missed anything. Resurrection, okay. Which we don't want.
The living.
So we've got our quest. We've got all our quests. So shift click this to stop tracking it because I don't care about it yet. There's one more quest we need to pick up from Undersea, so we'll do that whenever we go hand in our priest quest. We've got a quest for Silverpine. We've got 2 quests for Silverpine. Alright, I think we're ready to go. So all we need to do is we need to remember to pick up our flight path for Orgrimmar whenever we back that way. What we'll do now is we will Hearthstone out of here. Is there anything else I'm forgetting? That's not here. That's not here. Yeah. I think we're about there. Head back to our nice, cozy, gloomy place. Even the aesthetics of this zone, I really like. I mean, like I mentioned before, Durotar and the Barrens are so, no pun intended, but it's so dry. It's just the same thing. I know this is probably the same, just different but the same, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, instead of sand and hills, it's trees and zombies. But I don't know. Seems a bit cooler. I don't know if anybody watching this agrees. It'd be awesome to hear what you guys and girls think, but in my opinion, this has definitely got more to offer. I think after leveling this in this zone, I think my ranking would have to be Tristful Glades in terms of starting zone, Tristful Glades, Mulgore, and then Durotar. Might be the consensus. People might very much disagree with that, but I don't know. It was just really really enjoyable. Sent you different places. There wasn't massive, big, sprawling, you know, distances without anything going on. There was always a little bit of a sense of dread. You know, you might die, but yeah, not bad. You might also have noticed I'm now part of this guild. Can't remember if I mentioned this already or not, but loads of hardcore guilds, and they actually all join together. You see like that CH next to their name. They're not actually part of Victory and Death. If you shift click on their name, you see they're part of Classic Hardcore. So it's numerous hardcore guilds all joined together. Yeah, it's just being part of a little community. You also get a pop-up if somebody dies within the guild you're in, so it's a little bit upsetting when you see that. This is the dreaded Undercity boss. Many people died of these lifts. Try not to be one of them. Right, so what we want to do is we want to head to the War Quarter first for our priest training. There they are. Oh lord. I'm not going to be able to say their name. What is that? Alethialster. I'm bad at pronouncing names and stuff anyway on this game, but that is... Althialsti. God only knows. Right. Warrior trainers, priest trainers, and this is the one we want.
What now?
Ah, good. Another has arrived. Time may not matter to me, but to you it is of the essence. There is much for you to learn, and there is much I wish to teach you. You simply must prove your worth. Do that, and you should be greatly rewarded.
Dark Lady watches.
Awesome. Oh, rank 1 as well, it says, so I imagine this is of ranks. So, on shift 6, so say what it looks like. Oh yeah, 10 minutes. That's awesome. So what, because it's a buff, we'll put it here, shift 3 instead. Yeah. Cool, and next we want to head over to pick up our FC quest, and then we're fully loaded, and then all we need to do is level up 2 or 3 more times, and we're probably about ready. Level 15 I think will be the minimum. Level 16 would be ideal for that dungeon, I think. Be safe. But we'll see. See how brave we feel later down the line.
What will you require?
Strange. What is going on here? Gerald, Leona, and Joanna. Larissa, Gerald's experiment. And this
Yes.
Joanna doesn't sell anything. Strange. Okay,
Beware.
moving on. No, I should have sold the task as well. There he is. Main man. Up here with our queen, Lady Sylvanas. There's the pop-up. You're in the guild, you get a pop-up as well. Obviously we got the death log, which we've been following this whole time, but... Give him an F in the chat.
I've no time for games.
Oh, right. Doesn't sound like she likes to procrastinate.
How will this benefit me?
What to destroy? Right, many denizens of the Legion bestow gifts on their followers. As you may well know, some of these gifts the Dark Lady feels will be better off in her hands than in the hands of those with lesser vision. A sect of the Shadow Council hidden in caverns below Orgrimmar, known as the Searing Blade, are a prime example. The lady tells me that members of the Searing Blade have come into the possession of 2 powerful spellbooks. She would like to borrow these books from them. You will get them for her. Ooh, wow. Darn it. Not a problem. Cool, that's it then. So we've got all our quests, I believe. 5 quests. Ready to roll. We just need to level up. Okay, make our way out and head to Silverpine next, I think. This is us just leaving Tristful Glade for the first time, moving down south into the next zone for the undead on this continent. which is, from what I heard, an interesting place to be, but there is one thing in this zone that sets it apart from the Barrens, which is there is a big, bad, nasty warg patrolling the area, and I'm not entirely sure where he is, but he is here somewhere, and he has a tendency to creep up on hardcore players and kill them, so definitely not the place to lose focus. Definitely somewhere we need to keep our eyes peeled, and we need to keep zoomed out. Mentioned it a few times, keep zoomed out. First thing we're going to do then, we're going to head over here, see if this quest giver is available. Looks like it's an escort quest, so I imagine it's sit there and wait for him to spawn, and if there's loads of people we might just have to ignore it. And then we'll go see what this one is. It looks like a collection of the wargs, which are everywhere. I believe the lore of this place is, obviously in Classic there's no Worgen race, which is a race in retail. I believe it's all to do with werewolves. We've got Shadowfang Keep down here, which I think is the home of all the werewolf problems. I'm not too sure. Hopefully we'll learn a bit more about it while we're here. What have we got? We've got undead and we've got wargs. All about our level. We are level 13, so this is appropriate. Ivor's patch.
What now?
Okay. Badly hurt by the ghoul. Ivor had the foul, and I don't know if he'll heal properly with that magic blade. Just gather hearts, take them to the sepulchre. Okay.
Victory for Sylvanas.
Gather the hearts. Go to the sepulchre. Yeah, and then try and find a cure for her brother. Quest up here. Escorting Erland. Little butchers. Oh, I can see people over there already. Level 12. Again, you can't group up here. Let's see. Farming some good karma, as always. Right, so what do we want to do? We want to head down south, but on the way, kill the orcs.